What's up, everyone? It's your girl Time. It's time for another Let's Talk. Now, today, we're going to talk about the dangers of being a lesbian. Yes, we're going to talk about lesbian love, right? And this is why a couple of years ago, I made a video because there was a content creator that was going viral speaking on the mentality of men. And her thought process was, well, if you can't get what you want out of a man, or since you won't be able to get what you want out of a man, these are her words, well, just go with a woman. Because you're going to be able to get what you want from a woman mentally, physically, emotionally, what have you. Just go with a woman. And that thought process is very, very dangerous. It's very dangerous. It's very problematic. And if you go into my history of videos, you will see the uh, the video response that I did to that, and the problematic things that could come from that. Right. First of all, if you are a woman who is now dating women because you can't get what you want from a man, and not necessarily are attracted to women, that is unfair to the actual lesbian who's probably seeking a for real relationship, right? It's disingenuous all around, right? And so I created a video. Like I said, go in the back and see it. Check it out. Let me know what you think. It's one of my highest, I think, viewed videos, right? Because it needs to be said, it needs to be spoken, it needs to be understood. The second thing is that being a lesbian, being in a lesbian relationship is not for the weak, right? Now, the men will see it as, oh, it's just something against men, right? They take it as an insult. Oh, well, lesbians hate men. Most lesbians, the majority of lesbians do not hate men. And it's weird that they think that just because you won't have sex with them, you now hate them. No. A lesbian relationships is not the focus, that the absence of men. It's the focus between two women. Men really have nothing to do with a lesbian relationship, right? And because a heterosexual relationship, and this video isn't to talk down or bad about heterosexual relationships at all, but it's to explain the dynamics between the two. And in a heterosexual relationship, it's on both parties. It's kind of like the other person is on the outside looking in on what you're experiencing as a human, right? But within a lesbian relationship, it is like both people are the same, one and the same. Although every woman is different, the overall connection in the mentality, the genetics is the same. So there's that, right? The overall thought process of relationships is the same. And society can be blamed. And I also, y'all know I'm always going to blame the Bible, but the society norms is going to be blamed in that aspect because men or boys are raised to have one thought process about relationships, as to where women have a totally different thought process about relationships. Men typically, and again, not all men, but men typically get into relationships because that is what's socially accepted. They do it for sex, or they do it, it's because what they're expected to do it, right? They may not necessarily want to, but they do it. As to where women or raised to automatically be a partner, to be in a relationship, to be married. Most men don't view marriage like women do. So you have that whole thought process, mentality, or what have you. So you have and I also think that's the reason why a lot of men are now coming out and being gay, because even two guys have a connection that a man and a woman won't have, because they're two guys. They understand each other better than a woman. A man is going to understand another man better than a woman, because the woman is on the outside looking in. So same thing, a woman is going to understand a woman better than a man, because the man is on the outside looking in. There's dynamics that women experience that men don't, and they don't understand, and vice versa. There's dynamics that men go through that women aren't going to understand. So it's not an attack on heterosexual or what have you. It's just stating the facts, right? So between women, women typically are more nurturing, right? The energetic exchange, the intimacy, and what is felt on emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, it's all different, right? And that's one of the reasons why we say that it is not for the weak, right? It's like you're meeting your best friend, right? With this unexplained connection, because they get you like no one else has, right? It's like finally connecting with a part of yourself that you didn't even realize was missing. That's deep when you really, really think about it. That is deep. And that is the majority of most lesbian relationships or experiences or exchanges or marriages or what have you. It's like finally connecting with the part of yourself that you didn't know was missing. And when you treat yourself good, now we know there's toxic people, lesbians, men, whatever, and everything. But when the relationship is good, it's like you're treating the part of yourself that you didn't know existed even better, right? Because we want to treat each other like we treat ourselves. And also, like in heterosexual male female, there is kind of like the woman is there as a help me, blaming the Bible again, to the man. And so the woman is expected to kind of just be in servitude to the man, whether it's cleaning the house, whether it's having babies, and it's more of a job or a task as an expectation. You have men on the internet now that basically, if you listen to what they're saying, and they may say it just outright, and they may say it where you have to read between the lines, but if you don't have children, if you're not married, you're useless. And who wants to live in you know what I'm saying? That is just offensive to even women who are not lesbian. To say that if you haven't had a child, if you haven't been married, if you have not been deemed useful to a man, you're not useful. You're not, there's no purpose. Why are you here? Right? And where the man is automatically seen as the head of the household or the leader, even if he's dumb as a box of rocks. Now, shout out to the men who are actual leaders who can demonstrate self control and have intellectual intelligence and emotional intelligence. So I'm not, putting the dig on them, but every man is not a provider, every man is not a protector. This, if you are, you are. If you ain't, you ain't. And so you have that social dynamic that puts people in places they don't rightfully deserve to be in. And with that thought process, who wants to be into that? And that's outside of a lesbian relationship. What heterosexual woman wants to be in a relationship where she automatically is second class? And no, no dig on the ones who are. There are a lot of positive, healthy heterosexual relationships. But the overall concept and thought is that the woman is a second class citizen. citizen. And who wants to be that in a relationship? And so within a lesbian relationship, it's not like that. There's not an expected servitude. The goal of each party typically is to please the partner, is to please your partner. And you gain pleasure from pleasing your partner. We're not just talking about sex, we're talking about everything. Because you've now found yourself. You've now found the part of yourself that's missing that you didn't even know that was missing. And so you want to treat this person the best that you can. You want to love on that person like every person should love on their person within a relationship. Right? Makes sense? Good. All right, so there's a couple of videos that I want us to take a look at that just kind of sums up what I'm talking about. Right? Because again, the title, and I may change the title, it's not for the weak, right? You'll get yourself in a lesbian relationship and get caught up. You hear me? You're going to be caught up, especially if you're doing it for the wrong reasons or if you're not mentally prepared. All right. So let's take a look at this video, a couple of videos here that kind of sums up what I'm talking about, especially if you're not ready. And really, at the end of the day, ain't nobody ready. All right, but let's take a look at this. All right.
Y'all, never in my life have I ever been loved the way I am being loved by my woman. When I tell you this woman not only set the bar, but is the bar, I am so obsessed. And so is she. Oh my gosh. I can't even explain. I like the way she blinks. I like the way she walks in her shoes. I like the way she puts on her clothes. I just like to stare at her and watch her live her life. Just candidly. Like, not a creep, but a little creepy. Oh, maybe a little creep for her. Maybe I am. But she loves me. She loves me for it. That is all.
I thought that was really cute. And I mean, that's just the snippet into lesbian relationships, right? And especially the very first one. Now, retrospect, you may go back and think, but it's the connection, right? It's that finally connecting on that part of yourself that you didn't know existed. And I think that's the reason why, again, the late in life lesbians regretful. Because you mean that I could have been experiencing it even in the toxicity. It's still, it's unexplainable. It really is. But even in the toxicity, it's like something that you miss. So let's look at this other video before I close out and get another perspective. And this is the warning, this is the heed to those. If you want to be walking around, with a flashlight during the day type of situation, you want to pack up your whole entire life. And yeah, just take heed. This is a warning. Okay? All right, so let's listen to what this sister said. I dated a stud as a straight woman. And I think that this is why the guys are, or not all, some of the guys are mad, is because they don't know, they don't understand, because society has always told them, well, a woman is lucky to have you, when in actuality, if you're a good person and you have a good person, you all are lucky to have each other. And I think that some of the guys are missing key bits of information. I think they come from an what's the word? An entitled, presumptuous standpoint as to where that really doesn't exist in lesbian relationships. So let's listen to Miss Straight Woman.
I dated a stud, as I guess you could technically say as a straight woman, even though I don't necessarily know if I can use that term anymore because I dated a stud. And even though she was very, very, very masculine, like no feminine qualities at all, like very masculine, still a woman, right? So I came to some interesting revelations that I want to talk about like lesbian relationships and the differences that I like felt in the relationship with her versus the men that I dated. Because when I kid you not, I'm just jump straight into it. You know, I never dated a woman before her, and I have never been so like had so much chemistry with another person in my entire life. Okay, I've never been so drawn to somebody, never been that attracted to somebody. Like the chemistry between me and her was unlike anything I've ever experienced with any man that I ever dated. Okay, and I've had some, decent experiences with men, but the magnetism between me and her was just nothing that I can describe, nothing that I can compare to anything that I've experienced with a man. And I don't know, maybe if it was just me and her, or if this is like a lesbian thing, or I don't know, maybe y'all could let me know in the comment section if you're a stud or if if you're into that. I don't know. But all I know is that I have, first of all, never felt like that. Never fell in love with somebody that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Never been that attached to somebody that quick and easy. Never had that type of sexual chemistry with anybody. Like when I say like fireworks and explosions and all of that, never experienced that.
Now let me pause right there. Right. What I have found in heterosexual relationships is that it is presumed that a man automatically knows a woman, right? You have the guys telling the man, oh, well, you need a man to teach a man to be a man, or a boy to be a man. But wouldn't that boy want to get like sex education from his mom and to explain the body of a woman? See, we as women, we know our bodies, right? So another woman is going to know our bodies as well. As to where, if you're teaching your children, your sons, about sex education, whether you're the mom or the dad, because it needs to be done, who would have the most information on that? And I think that the numbers don't lie. Most heterosexual women don't experience orgasms, right? And because I think most women don't know the dynamics of the woman's body, they alone think that that penetration is enough. That just bouncing up and down is enough. And to be real honest, most men, and especially if you listen to these cats on the podcast, most of these men are just using the women as a human masturbation slave, right? They're not really interested in pleasing the woman, and that is a problem. I, know a few women who said that they never had an orgasm until they were with a woman, and they absolutely love me and are still dating, is currently with a man. And so I think that there's some teaching that need to be taught to the growing. The magic stick, it's something that goes along with it, especially the emotional connection. But let's continue.
Until I was with this, I would just say stud because I'm not gonna say any names. And matter of fact, let's just use the name Kim, just to have a name other than stud. I don't want to just keep saying stud. That sounds weird to me. But okay, so me and Kim, I just felt like the relationship with her was almost kind of like it was more it's almost like falling in love with a best friend. It's like you have that deep, intimate friendship connection. But then you also have like this love and this sexual chemistry, and it's like it just hits so many points on so many different like levels that I guess I just haven't experienced. I'm not saying that being with a man is like not a good experience. I just never felt that magnetic towards somebody. I'm like almost stumbling over my words. But I guess the downside to all of that was I've never loved somebody that much, but I've also never been that hurt by anybody before either. So
Again, it's not for the weak. It is not for the weak. Proceed with caution because you will get. And that, again, that is the reason why I was so irritated by the thought process of that content creator of, well, just date a woman. Just date a woman. Honey, 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 child.
So like it's like you experience the highest level of high, but then the lowest level of low when a relationship ended. It's like very abruptly too, and for reasons that I won't say, but I didn't want the relationship to end. I saw myself marrying this woman. Like I literally I never saw myself as like lesbian or gay or anything throughout my entire life, but I actually saw myself marrying this woman. Like I loved her so much. Like I was like head over heels in love with her. And I'm sure she loved me too. I don't know if she loved me. I don't know. At this point, who freaking knows? I'm not even gonna try to speculate, but I'm just saying, y'all, from a woman, just coming from a woman who has a first experience dating a woman, I just was not expecting the magnitude of it to be like that. And I literally had to block her after we broke up, after the relationship ended. I literally had to block her on all social media. Just on social media, just because, not because I hate her. I had to block her because I love her. And I literally cannot see her face and hear her voice without being triggered. Like, I just can't do it. And that's never happened to me before. Okay. Last dude I dated, the last guy I dated, like we was rocking with each other. I was really feeling him. He was really feeling me. We went our separate ways at some point. I never unfollowed him, never blocked him. A year later, he posts pictures that he's getting married, and he's still to this day, he's posting pictures of vacations with his wife. I don't give a damn. I do not care. Would not block him because I don't care like that. Kim is the only one that I've ever loved that much to where I literally cannot look at them without being triggered. Like, this shit is freaking crazy.
So, as I said, it's not for the weak. Proceed with caution. And only date a woman because you're attracted to women. Not to, get back at a man, not to, because you can't find what you want in a man. Because if you're not ready, you could really end up hurt. You really, really, really could end up hurt. And even those that are truly attracted to women that are for real lesbians end up hurt. And it's just different. It just hits different. And I think that we allow more from each other women, that we would a guy. You know what I'm saying? I look back at my lesbian relationships, and there's some shit that I accepted that ain't no fucking way I would accept it from a guy. Ain't no way. Especially that first one. Especially your first encounter. Because you're so open, you're so wrapped up, you're so involved, you're so connected I don't know. It's different, y'all. It's absolutely different. But to all my lesbians out there, or the women who love women, let me know what you think. Comment your experience in how has it gone thus far? You know what I'm saying? And it's to me, it's those that don't know that talk the most shit about it. But those who know, if you know, you know. If you know, you know, and fuck around and find out. That is the truest statement in regarding lesbian love and the dangers of being a lesbian. All right, that's all I got for you today. Y'all let me know what you think, comment, share, so we can have a conversation, another conversation about this. And it ain't over. It definitely ain't over. Until then, I'll see y'all in the next video. See ya.